Hey everybody, this is John, and welcome to the free video. Quite the unusual day. The main thing was unusual today is you had a lot of the key stocks like Apple, which were actually positive most of the day. Okay, so Apple positive the most of the day, really until the last 30 minutes or so did it actually get caught up in some of the selling. Nvidia positive most of the day, Netflix positive most of the day, Boeing positive on the day. Sold off a little bit there to the close. But then when you look at the indexes, it's like, okay, wow, the Qs, were down over 1%. The spiders down over 1% as well, closing out at their dead lows. So what was unusual today is that we saw many of the market leaders actually holding up okay, but broad selling in the averages as a whole. So what was going on? And part of this was VIX related. There was some kind of rejiggering and rebalancing in SVXY and UVXY, kind of cutting some of the leverage there. So when that happens, they got to go in and kind of like buy futures, VIX futures contracts, and kind of get all that stuff situated. But regardless of the reason, right, it is what it is. And so the question is what happens tomorrow? And if we go to the S&Ps here, you'll notice that we came back to the 618 level, and that 618 level is from the daily chart, from the daily swing high to swing low. So if we take a look at this here, we've got the swing high to swing low, and we came up here between the 50 and the 618 for a couple of weeks. That was kind of the playground. On Friday we broke out. Okay, and then how this works is typically if you can get above the 786, that opens up the door to new highs. Here in this case, you can see we didn't even get near it, and pretty much gave all the gains back, and we're just sitting on the 618. So for tomorrow, the way you see something like this is typically if the S&Ps gap up, say 10 points or less, then I would look for a quick gap fill and some more selling. If we do get into a situation where we gap down like 10 points or so, then we actually could see a reversal. The trend today did close over 2, closed at 2.32. 90% of that time when that happens, you actually do see an up day the next day. That's also an indication of how intense the selling pressure was in some areas of the market, even though the market leaders were kind of generally left alone today. And then from there, when we take a look at the NASDAQ, this is an index that has got through that 50 and the 618 rather quickly, and was instead playing between the 618 and the 786, closed up above it. That opens up the door to the 1272. So that's still in play. Obviously, tomorrow is going to be an important day. So certainly for tomorrow, I'm going to keep an eye on the key leaders. And also for tomorrow, we're going to be keeping an eye on those key stocks like Apple and Amazon. And then one last thing to keep in mind here is that the trend, which I don't actually look at unless I get an alert that there's an extreme reading. Here we had a close above 2 right there. And just keep in mind that a close above 2, you're typically 9 times out of 10 going to get a bounce the next day. So there, when we got that close above 2, the next day we gapped down and then ripped higher. Okay, here we closed above 2. The next day, after looking pretty ugly, we closed slightly higher. Not a big move higher, but slightly higher. And then the next day we rallied. So here we are above 2. So certainly very possible here that this extreme oversold condition rips higher tomorrow. And of course, we could certainly go this way as well. But this is just kind of a heads up that when you get this oversold, that's typically how it works it off. And it's the opposite too. If it gets too down below 0.40, you typically are actually looking for a little bit of a relief there to undo that overbought scenario. And again, just a reminder, for things like the trend and the internals and setups and things like that, we had a full day of live trading today, focusing on futures and market leaders. This is part of our elite class. If this is something that you're just now hearing about and you still want to do it, you can still actually sign up. You'll get a recording of what we covered on the Saturday class, plus you'll get this tool, this tool, this tool, and this tool. Okay, some awesome tools there, and 3 days of live trading. So we finished our first live trading day today. We also have a live trading on Wednesday. On Thursday, we're taking a day off, and then we're back on Friday. So you actually still have plenty of time to dive in, and I'm anticipating a lot of learning and live trading opportunities, both for Wednesday and for Friday. All right? You guys have a good one. To go here, you just go to simplertrading.com/recipe, and we'll see you at the next update.